Hello, friends and underground secret finders. Let's find out what's going to happen to us in Chapter 8. We all went up the tube.
The cold, hard truth. Beck leapt up, allowing the suction to yank her into the dark. Dimness eclipsed around her like the shutter of a camera, as she seemed to cover great distance in mere moments. Her only points of reference were glints of upcoming turns, which approached with frightening speed, only to carom her gracefully along. She heard the tinny, distant echoes of Rollo's glee. Once she stopped fighting against it, the ride was impossibly smooth. Then, all of a sudden, as if minutes had passed in an instant, light blazed into view. A burst of wintry air snuffed across her face, and she was flung out into the cold.
And then, thump, we're in the snow. Where is this? That was intense? Yeah. I think I might have parted with some fluids in there. Any idea where we are? Somewhere cold. Doesn't look like it got on any of us. It didn't feel like we traveled that far. So where did it all go? This place sucks. Why would anyone ever want to blow something up out here? Well, one way to find out, I suppose. We gotta catch up with Nuncreed. I think he went this way. Okay. This looks familiar. Yeah, maybe we can clear up the snow. No time, Nuncreed's getting away. Welcome to Beacon Pines. The event has happened. Oh, this is starting to feel really familiar. It may not be the most well-versed on all things Beacon Pines, but this does look like some sort of frozen replica of town. Oh, I got it. So obvious now. Mr. Nuncreed is an alien. Rollo, stick with me here. His species can only live in sub-zero temperatures. Oh boy, here we go. This source is our base camp dimension, so naturally they keep it cold. We found it by traveling through the metallic wormholes back there. The final objective to kill us all and shapeshift into a Beacon Pine citizen of their choosing. You never really had me, but thank you very much. But you very much lost me there. You get used to it. We should keep moving.
As they rounded the corner to the frozen town square, they spotted Mr. Nuncreed inching cautiously toward a pit at its center. He held his arms out gingerly, as if approaching a beast in the wild. Upon closing the distance, Luca recognized what Nuncreed was after. Gran stood confidently at the edge, one arm outstretched over the abyss. Nearby, a wheelbarrow had been emptied out. She held a lit torch, which flickered in the bitter wind.
Juniper, I don't know what you think you're doing, but I assure you this is not going to solve anything. If you drop that, you've doomed this whole town. Oh, it wasn't me who doomed this town. I've been watching you, Joseph. I know what you've done. You and your co-conspirators. Gran, what's happening? Luca, you and your friends need to leave right this moment.
Mr. Nuncreed turned back toward the kids, desperation in his eyes.
Listen to your grandma, Luca. This is between me and Juniper.
Rollo and Beck held steadfast in awe. Luca approached closer. Mr. Nuncreed spun back toward Gran, his voice growing louder.
You got it all wrong, Juniper. Just hand over that torch. You don't understand what you're doing. How can I possibly trust you to do the right things? Walt told me everything. He trusted you and you betrayed that trust. Luca, did you know that this man's entire life is a lie? If it weren't for him, your father might still be alive.
Mr. Nuncreed winced with anguish. His voice hardened.
That's not true.
They both now yelled, not to each other, but at fate itself, making their peace with long-held burdens. The wind howled with encouragement.
Walt was like a brother to me. We just had different ideas about how to affect change. Very convenient that your way just happened to line your pockets. Now that's not fair.
They menaced at each other, both catching their breath. The moment balanced on a knife's edge. Amid a blur of emotions and memories, Luca's mind flooded with question. The wind calmed, as if to give him the stage.
Uh-oh. and in the stillness he began to weep. We only have one option. So this is, I'll get to it at the end, but I find this interesting, this idea like we don't really have choices in this game because you often don't get the option you need until later. So you are having to live through a version of this once in order to get, anyway, it feels very preordained. So it's interesting because you're like, couldn't have mitigated that.
And in the
But then you don't mind as much because of the way it plays out.
It was all just too much. Falling to his knees, Luca whimpered softly. The tears crystallized as they hit the snow. Gran stared at Luca for a moment with warm sympathy, remembering why this was all necessary.
This all makes sense soon, Luca. Then everything can go back to normal. I promise.
She stiffened up and brandished the torch at Mr. Nuncreed.
You can't hide behind those people any longer, Joseph. Once their precious source is destroyed, we'll see where their loyalties fall. Juniper, don't.
Ignoring his final plea, Gran flung the torch into the deep darkness.
I feel like this isn't going to end well.
She smiled and exhaled in relief. Mr. Nuncreed moaned in resignation. The torch echoed as it ricocheted down the hole, punctuated with a thunderous thud.
You see, Joseph, I've learned one very important lesson in life. If you want things to change, then you must be willing
Before
to...
Gran could finish, the ground shook her to silence. Gran only had time to spin around and run to Luca. Her attempt to shield him, an honorable but trifling act. Unflinching love, pitted against an unthinking horror, there was no contest. Her warm embrace froze in an instant. That is where they remain, fixed in place, forever. And so, our story ends on this melancholy scene. In a town brought low by its secrets, sits the frozen statues of a misguided band of meddlers.
Well, that's the end.
The end.
Well.
Well,
But wait.
That was dire. On the bright side, we finally figured out where all the ice is coming from. Now,
I think we knew.
just need to find a way to deal with a mystic, unfathomable force of nature.
Okay. So, this problem in that our options are now limited here. We can see we haven't learned anything new. We have one option here, which is way over on this one. So we were surrounded by the clipboards at our treehouse, and we have our second option, which is flight. We gotta run.
And decided to take the only option they had left. Flight. He squinted down the barrel of the mission control defense cannon, aiming it through an opening in the dense tree branches. He looked up with surprise as it struck true and taut.
Oh, I can't believe that worked. We hit a toilet in the middle of the forest. Hey, Mr. Kerr, we'd love to hear your thoughts, but I'm afraid we have places to be. Come on, Iggy. See ya, Jarks. Fine, we know where that leads them. This way, we'll take the tunnels.
Luca and Iggy winced as they sprinted through the thicket. The branches clawed at them, reluctant to give passage. After what felt like a marathon, Luca stopped in his tracks as they reached the clearing. What the? That was all he was able to say before Iggy slammed into his back. The boys tumbled down a steep decline and crashed with a wheezing thud on a surface as hard as ice. In fact, it was ice. Chapter 5. Signs. They stood silently, catching their breath. The sky was like sapphire. With each breath, a plume of steam escaped from Luca's lungs. Let's keep moving. Luca pulled Iggy to his feet as they gazed across the snowy terrain.
That was actually pretty badass. Uh-huh. I think we lost them. Are we up in the mountains? I don't think so. If anything, we went downhill. Then what's up with the Winter Wonderland? All I know is there's no way going back the way we came. Let's see if we can get our bearings. Follow me. Okay, so let's go up this way. Luke, are you there?
Luca had almost forgotten the walkie-talkie he was carrying.
It's a bozo cur. I hope nothing bad has happened to you out in those
Luca
woods.
looked at Iggy with hesitation.
No need to be
With a
rude.
resigned sigh, Luca responded.
Seems like the only dangerous thing in the woods is you. He speaks to young man of the hour. Now, how in tarnation did you end up with one of our radios? Just lucky, I guess. Boy, howdy. You Van Horns are full of surprises, aren't you? You knew my parents. I never had the honor of meeting your father, but your mom sure was a handful.
Luca winced, shoving the walkie-talkie back into his pocket.
We gotta keep moving. Uh-oh, this doesn't portend well. Okay, I guess what's the readout? Sitting at just above 258 Kelvin. That's a bit down from last time. Should we report this to Mr. Kerr? Man, it's still within safe ranges. May be spreading, but it's under control for now. Even a small nudge in equilibrium could cause a cascade. Dude, relax. Just a few more sites to hit before we punch out. Let's get this over with. What's all this? Hard to say with all this snow. I think it's a town sign. I can almost make out the letters under there. What town could this even be? There couldn't be another town this deep in Weepwood. I'm looking at evidence to the contrary. Let's figure out where we're dealing with here. Step 1, snow's gotta go. See what I can do. Give it a kick. Hello.
The boys stared in disbelief at the sign that now clearly read, "Welcome to Beacon Pines."
That doesn't make any sense. We're in Beacon Pines? How's that possible? We ran away from town. How did we get back here? I guess we got turned around. Where did all this snow come from? Well, it's been colder than normal lately. There's a big difference between sweater weather and this Arctic hellscape. The puddle we fought at before, it was cold too. Maybe all of it leads to one source. You think it's related? What the hell's going on? We're gonna get you some answers. Let's keep moving.
The fencing glistened, each chain link encapsulated with a translucent layer of ice.
Looks like the stuff they put up around Weepwood. The stuff who put up? I don't know. Stuff looks familiar to you? Looks like the barrel near the puddle I shoved me into, yeah. So here's the thing, is we want to find another question mark. It's all
Looking down
frozen.
the frozen stream, Luca could faintly see a school of minnows encased in the ice.
Whatever happened here, it happened fast. The fish didn't even have time to run. Or, swim run.
The crunching of footsteps trailing Luca went hush. He looked back to see Iggy's face twisted with confusion.
Everyone's gone. What? There's nothing here but more snow. There must be an explanation for all this. We have to keep looking. You can look all you want. I quit. Iggy, we gotta keep moving. You don't get it, do you? This isn't one of your pathetic Hank Atomic stories. We aren't gonna save the day. We aren't even gonna save ourselves. My face is mangled, the town is destroyed, and everyone we've ever known is gone. We don't know that. You can't just quit. Do whatever you want. I'm done. Iggy, it's gonna be okay.
Luca peered upward at the darkening sky. He let out a long, foggy breath. Faintly, Iggy began to cry. Seeing Iggy in such a pathetic state gave Luca a sense of compassion, and more than a little guilt.
Getting pretty late, I think. Probably not a great idea to stumble around in the dark anyway.
Luca allowed himself to collapse next to Iggy.
Let's just rest for a
The
bit.
boys huddled together for
Oh, this
warmth
doesn't
and
seem
comfort.
good.
If not for exhaustion, their minds would be racing, trying to make sense of the events of the day. As it was, all they had energy for was to sit in silence, numb.
The way the snow covered everything over is kind of calming. Yeah. I haven't had time to say it, but thanks. Huh? For getting us away from those creeps. I sort of froze up back there. Iggy, I should be the one apologizing. This all happened because I lost my temper. Nah, that's bull hockey. First of all, you didn't know what that gunk would do. You didn't, right? Of course not. And second, stop with this baloney about losing your temper. But I did lose my
Iggy
temper.
motioned sarcastically to his half-deformed face.
Obviously. But that's exactly what you should have done. Huh? I was being a horse's ass. You were supposed to be a horse's ass in response. That's how it works. Iggy, I'm having a hard time following. You wanted me to fight you? Of course. Geez, you goody types take forever to understand the very basic point. Why would you go around saying cruel things, trying to get into fights? Something to do. You're being an a-hole because you're bored? Sometimes I just feel empty. You wouldn't understand. You and Rolo are always having a blast together, laughing and calling that dinky little treehouse mission control.
Wept openly.
Perfect little Luca Van Horn with his perfect little life. My life is not perfect. Everyone in town likes you. Not everybody. Hell, even that new girl hasn't even unpacked yet, and she already likes you. You have Tish.
He wiped his nose with a sleeve.
I love Tish. Tish is great, but she ain't exactly the world's greatest conversationalist, you
Luca
know.
gave a warm chuckle.
I get that
Iggy cleared his
impression.
throat as he wiped his eyes.
Huh, must be raining out here. Definitely.
Iggy arched into a wide yawn.
We should probably try to get some sleep. Yeah, let's lay low for now. Tomorrow we'll get to the bottom of all
Luca's
this.
eyelids began to slowly drift shut.
Seems like a bad idea. Luca? Yeah? You always did want to see the inside of your dinky little treehouse. Yeah, maybe that's a better place instead of the hypothermia pit. What do you think? Not bad. I'll give you a full tour when we get back. You know what?
That's all Luca could whisper before succumbing to sleep. Iggy snuggled in some more.
When it comes to worst days of my entire life, this one wasn't half bad.
The house smelled of warm bread. Luca was playing with toy blocks on the living room rug. He looked up to see his parents on the couch. His mother held his father's head in her lap. She idly stroked his hair while humming a song. A voice behind Luca spoke. "This is how you remember them, huh?" Luca turned to see his own face, the doppelganger from his dreams, still clad in a yellow hazmat suit, still carrying a look of disdain behind empty eyes. Aww, look at this perfectly cozy scene. The figure picked up a toy block and inspected it. It's amazing the facades that one can build given the right materials. Not that I blame us. These are a child's memories, all warm and fuzzy. You don't remember, do you? Luca snatched the block from the figure's yellow-gloved hand. Remember what? The doppelganger pointed to the couch. The last day we saw him alive. The day he chose to abandon us. Luca turned to look at his father, still lounging on the couch. That's not true. He didn't abandon us. The doppelganger waved his hand dismissively. Everything is true here. It's just a matter of what we choose to see. Well, let me show you. The world flickered and pulsed. Luca was sitting next to his bed, listening to his heartbeat with one of his dad's stethoscopes. The doppelganger limped into the room. Now, we both know that's not how this went. He grabbed Luca's hand and guided the stethoscope to the floor. Luca heard muffled shouting,
To the floor.
brought close by the stethoscope. It was his parents, fighting. Do you remember what we did next? Luca gave a slow nod and crept down the hall to peek through the banister. He could see the outline of his mother at the bottom of the stairs. Damn it, Walt. We can't afford to get involved in this. She was scared. His father stepped forward. What am I supposed to do? Just watch? There's a sickness in this town, and we both know who's behind it. I swore an oath to help people. I won't turn my back on them. Luca's mother grabbed Walt. She was crying, pleading. I can't lose you. Walt calmly removed Eleanor's hand from his shoulder. What's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong. I could never live with myself if I let Sharper get away with this. Eleanor raised her voice. Spare me your bullshit platitudes. What about our son? Luca flinched, dropping the stethoscope down the stairs. Walt turned with a panicked smile. Luca, is that you, buddy? With tears in his eyes, Luca descended the stairs. Mom? Dad? What's going on? Walt dropped to a knee to meet Luca eye to eye. Nothing, buckaroo. Your mom and I just got a little overexcited is all. Luca placed the stethoscope against his father's chest. His heart was racing. It sounded like you were going somewhere? Walt gently removed the device from Luca's ears. Listen to me, Luca. I have some business to take care of. I'll be back in time to tuck you in. Luca hugged his father tightly. Promise? Walt stood up and walked to the door. I promise. With a wink and a grin, he put on his hat and strode out into the evening sun. A figure approached soundlessly from the foggy snowfall. It stood above them, lingering in contemplation. Slowly raising one hand above Iggy, it snapped out 2 brisk raps on his head. From a deep slumber, Iggy sprang up defensively.
Get your hands off me.
Whether it was the calming presence or the recognition that he was not in danger, Iggy felt his clenched fists lower.
Just what do you think you're
Luca
doing?
looked up, gradually remembering his whereabouts. The figure exhaled a cloud of warm vapor.
You two certainly have caused a lot of commotion. What's that supposed to mean? Take it easy, Iggy. We were asleep minding our own business. You're the one running around knocking on people's heads. Sorry if I hurt you, Iggy. You didn't hurt nobody. Anybody. Huh? Oh, I see. You think you're better than me. You.
When it came to complete strangers, Iggy had trouble cobbling together an insult.
You big-hatted, scarfy-necked furball. Okay, let's lower the temperature a bit here. Interesting choice of words. I mean, let's all calm down. Who are you? A friend. An observer. A hitchhiker on the infinite expanse of possibility. Great, how about a name? If you must call me something, you can call me Nat.
Iggy huffed with gratification.
How about you make like a gnat and buzz off? Very
Nat
well.
began to turn away indifferently.
Wait, do you live here? You might say that. So you know where we are? You might also say that. Look, pal, we just want to find a safe way out of here. You're going to help us or not? Before knowing how to leave, one must know where they are. All right, that does it. Look, I don't know about you, but I'm getting out of here one way or
Iggy
another.
turned sharply and began to stomp off.
Enough with, Iggy, wake up.
Realizing he'd worn their patience then, Nat relented.
Very well, I suppose this isn't time for metaphors. I'll show you how to get back home.
With that, Iggy turned around with hope in their eyes.
Come here.
Nat took a deep breath in.
Close your eyes.
Nat exhaled slowly, then snapped his fingers.
Okay, open them.
For a brief moment, Luca and Iggy let themselves believe that some great magic was about to unfold, until they opened their eyes and found themselves in the exact same place, cold and disheartened.
This is your home. This is Beacon Pines. Look, Nat, we don't know how we got here. Maybe we stumbled through some time travel gate in Weepwood, or we teleported to some alternate universe. Or this is all just some cruel experiment by Kerr and his goons, but this is not our home. You're inching closer to the truth. Alas, the reality is much less fanciful. Just give it to us straight. So be it. As I said, this is Beacon Pines, the original true Beacon Pines. I think we knew this. This felt a little overplayed. You both grew up here, but the town you've called your home for the past several years is a replica. A remarkable achievement of engineering, to be fair, but a replica nonetheless. That's impossible. It's too much work. You need a whole town to replicate a whole town. Indeed, to pull off such a feat will require immense labor power. That which could be moved would be moved. That which could not would require precise duplication. We would have noticed. Someone would have noticed. You'd think so, unless the auditing was impeccable. A mind-numbing attention to detail, as with the innumerable trivialities which complete the tapestry. Well, you can leave this to this miraculous thing we call a brain. It has a real aversion to discontinuity, a revulsion even. The brain has a wonderful way of smoothing out the rough edges, keeping us sane. Iggy and Luca looked around uncomfortably. So you're saying that someone made an entire new town and moved us all and no one noticed? Precisely. But why? Why is the one question that can never be answered with certainty. The best one can do is to uncover.
His eyes, furrowed his brow, and uttered,
The source. Why'd you say the source like that? Why indeed?
To laugh uncomfortably.
It's all ridiculous. There's no way they could.
Down at his feet. His eyes started back and forth in contemplation. With a sudden pain, a thought struck him.
This really is home.
He sprinted off into the pale distance. As Iggy turned to follow, Nat called out.
Iggy, it's not too late to turn back. Simply head west through the weepwood.
Chapter 6. The Source. Nat expressed his sympathy with a shrug and sauntered off as unassumingly as he'd arrived. He'd given Luca and Iggy what they needed, and nothing more. As Luca sprinted across the snow, the events of the past few days became clearer, pieces to a larger puzzle. Rollo said he was underground somewhere, captured. Mr. Kerr tried to cover it up with lies. The clipboards were hell-bent on capturing Iggy. It all seemed to point to perennial harvest. But right now, there was one thing that Luca needed to know. Luca stopped dead in his tracks. The tree was gone, uprooted and moved, leaving a raw gash in the earth. He dropped to his knees and dug wildly at the cold snow. His numb hands hit something hard, a headstone. A dry whisper escaped Luca's lips.
You're here. At this time I thought I was visiting you, but you've been here, alone in the snow. Dad, I'm so sorry. They ruined your favorite spot in the world. Our favorite spot in the world. Dad, what do I do?
There was no reply. Just snow-covered silence.
Why'd you give me the slip like that? What if I couldn't find you, you jerk?
He finally noticed the tears welling in Luca's eyes and the snow-covered grave.
Oh. Iggy, they stole his tree, Iggy.
Suddenly,
Yikes.
they heard the crunch of approaching footsteps in the snow.
Gotta hide. 259K. Fall off distance is still good. Dude, did you hear me? I said 259. Sorry. You ever think about what we did here? We saved the whole town of people. Doesn't feel like it sometimes. What about everything we left behind? That's the grave of someone with a family. The people who love them will never know the truth. The truth is overrated.
He bent down to scoop up a snowball and lobbed it playfully.
Hey, don't be such a downer, dude. We took the job to change the world. Yeah. Come on. It's almost lunchtime. Weirdo. Harry thought I was a jerk. These dinguses are out here literally dancing on graves.
Stuttered through heaving sobs.
I thought I was visiting him. I thought he was with me. Not gonna lie, that's a bad break. Here's some advice.
Gave Luca a solid smack on the back of his head.
Hey. Who's any of this helping? What? Sitting here in the snow crying like some pushover. Who you helping? Iggy, look what they did. They lied to everyone. Blah, blah, blah. Look at Van Horn, you're a lot of things, but you ain't no pushover. What did I tell you before? When some jerk comes to act like a horse's ass, I should stand up for myself. Heck yeah. Kurt and his merry little band of clipboards pulled off a switcheroo for a reason, right? That mentioned something about a source. Whatever's at the source must be awfully valuable to perennial harvest. Sure would be a shame if something unfortunate were to happen to their precious source, wouldn't it? What do you have in mind? Small enough to steal. If it's small enough to steal, we'll snatch it. If it's too big to snatch, we'll smash it. And what if it's too big to smash?
He flashed a mischievous smile and cracked his knuckles.
I'm always up for a challenge. I'm gonna make this right, Dad, I promise. Let's do this. Locate the source. Alright. So, I don't know, where do we go back to now? It get awful cold out there in those woods, Luca. Probably best you two stay put and conserve your energy. Help's on the way. Who's that? Where's my mom? Why'd you kill her? Oh, heavens no. Do I seem like a killer to you?
Luca shared a skeptical look.
Well, do I? Oh, shucks. Now that hurts my feelings. Screw that guy. Okay, so down we go again.
A disc of smooth metal was lightly covered in snow. Two faint seams were visible along the surface.
Manhole cover? If it is, I've never seen one like it. Wait a minute. If this is the original town, then that means...
Iggy darted behind a large pine and began digging furiously. He emerged holding a shoebox with a crude skull painted on its lid.
What's that? Long story. So a few years back, I came into possession of some premium grade fireworks. Not the wimpy firecracker stuff they give kids, the good stuff. So I had you buried under a tree. That's the long part of the story. You and Rolla were doing chores at Rolla's sheep coop, and you guys pissed me off for some reason or another.
His eyes with realization.
No, you
He
didn't.
stifled a chuckle.
Yep. I just wanted to give you guys a little scare, but like I said, these were some primo fireworks, so I might have underestimated things. You blew up the chicken coop. I prefer to think of it as an incendiary redecoration. Sorry, but you should have seen the looks on your faces. Rolla got grounded for months, which is why I needed to stash the evidence and lay low. So I buried him under that tree. But when I came back for him later, they were gone. I figured some grown-up had found him and
Iggy
tossed him.
triumphantly raised the shoebox.
Turns out it wasn't the fireworks that got moved. It was us. Unbelievable. Do you think this is a game? Newsflash, boyo. You're not a hero. You're a little brat who's in way over his head. Hero is just someone who refuses to give up. Comics these days are rotting children's brains. Everyone thinks they're a spaceman superhero. I was always partial to Hank Atomic myself. Is that so? Do you really think you have a chance against us? You have no idea how powerful we are. Prepare for blast off, loser.
Luca and Iggy inched up to the edge of the hole with bewilderment in their eyes. Arctic air breathed out of the cavern in heaving gusts.
Echo, 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 echo. Whoa. I can see why they wanted to move us all out of town now. But why would they dig a giant hole? I think this is it. The source. This is the source? It's a dang hole. How do we smash a hole? Oh, it's so much more than that, my annoying little friend. Kerr. Where's Rollo? I wasn't lying before. He's safe. Well, safer than you two at least. Drats, it's cold. You just had to drag me out all the way over here, didn't you?
Mr. Kerr gazed down the abyss in contemplation.
It really is something, isn't it? What did you do to our town? What is all of this? Well, that's a doozy of a question. This is the source, where they collect the unrefined,
Kerr scratched the back of his head.
Honestly, boys, I don't understand any of this well enough to explain it. Fact of the matter is, I'm not paid to know. What do you mean you don't know? Ain't you in charge? Oh heavens, no, my role is merely to flash a winning smile and manage various complications. Complications like us? You are a smart boy.
His face contorted into a saccharine grin.
It really is nothing personal. Some people are destined to strive for greatness, and others are simply obstacles along the way. Seems like you're destined to be a creepy lackey. Point is, we all play our part in life. Mine just happens to be a lead in the role of a lifetime, and yours happens to be extras, ready to call for your curtain call. We're giving up without a fight. Your smile's not going to be so winning after we're done with you. Now, boy, there's no need for melodrama. Makes even a professional such as myself embarrassed for you. Let's change the mood a bit.
Snapped his fingers.
Scene change. There, that's better. Deal with them.
Iggy turned to Luca with a sly glance.
Why are you smirking? Because I have a box full of fireworks and you don't?
Iggy waved the box into the air, threatening to drop it down the hole.
Stop. Let's not do something regrettable. Joke's on you, regret is one of my specialties. Out of curiosity, what would happen if I threw these in your precious hole? Nothing at all. You're a terrible liar. I'll have you know, I'm an exceptional liar. Up. That's far enough.
Iggy plucked a single bottle rocket from the box and held it up with reverence.
Stop, you fool. Call up your goons.
After a long pause, Mr. Kerr flung up his hand with frustration.
Very well. You can all head back for the night. It's been a long day. I'll handle these two from here.
Mr. Kerr sighed into the frigid air.
It's just us now, Iggy. You can put that down. What, like this?
With a nonchalant flick, Iggy tossed the firework into the hole.
Oh, whoa.
With a growl, Kerr leapt at Iggy, crashing through Luca. Iggy tried to twist away, but in the struggle they both tumbled over the side. Luca dove forward, bracing Iggy's hand just before it slipped. His grip was made precarious by the cold, wet snow. He could see Kerr further down, clinging to Iggy's coat.
You reckless child, what have you done? Luca, listen to me. Hold on tight and use the walkie-talkie to call them back. How? What channel do I use? It doesn't make a damn difference, they're always listening. If you do that, the clippers will just haul us up and snag us both. The only way you get out of this is if Kerr's out of the picture. Just let go and save yourself. If he lets go, we both die. I don't want to die, but seeing the look in your face almost makes it worth it. Mr. Kerr, you've had a long life. Why don't you actually do something selfless and just let go?
Mr. Kerr gasped with insult.
Long life? I'll have you know I can still play 25. You should have heard me in the part of Phileas Young.
With a wild look in his eye, Mr. Kerr began to hum a proud melody.
Prum dum dum, property dum dum. Wow, can you believe this guy?
Luca's hand began to cramp. His voice began to crack.
Kerr, just let go. No, can do. If you want to save your friend, you'll have to save me too. Luca, look at me. It's
Luca felt
okay.
Iggy loosen his grip.
You aren't going to kill your friend like that, are you?
Every muscle in Luca's body burned.
Not his friend. Yes, you are. I'm just a no-good bully. Like you, Kerr. Iggy, no.
Luca felt his hand slipping.
And I told you what you need to do with bullies. I can't. The only way out of this mess. Two birds with one stone. Makes sense for us to fall together. Wackadoos travel in
Calm
packs.
settled over Iggy's face.
Luca, let me do
Iggy's
this.
voice was colder than the bitter air billowing from the chasm.
Let me do the right thing, for once. Luca had no choice but to blank Iggy's request. Refuse or accept. Now, if I drop them down there with a bunch of fireworks, I feel like it's not going to be good, and if we refuse, I don't know what we're going to do, but I think we don't want to cause the hole to collapse, so I think we're going to have to refuse his request, even though I want to drop them both down there. I don't know.
Luca had no
I feel like
choice
neither is a
but to
good choice.
refuse Iggy's request. He tightened his grip and reached for the walkie-talkie in his pocket. A wild delight crept onto Mr. Kerr's face. That's a good lad. Now, radio for help. Iggy begged Luca with his eyes one last time, but Luca pressed the button and called out, We need help. Mr. Kerr is in danger. It wasn't long before they were once again surrounded by clipboards. Mr. Kerr sighed with relieved frustration. There you are. You really are a worthless lot, aren't you? Mirror. Now, a clipboard dutifully produced an ornate ivory hand mirror, and Mr. Kerr began preening his tousled hair. Ah, that's better. Mr. Van Horn, I applaud your sharp thinking under duress. I'll put in a good word for you with the founder. Take them away. A swarm of hands overpowered Luca. The last thing he saw before a cloth bag was pulled over his head was the defeated look on Iggy's face. The end. I think this was one of those times where doing the right thing was the wrong thing.
Okay, so, refuse and accept. And we also have opened up another option over here. We'll weep and then hum. But no choice but to accept.
Luca had no choice but to accept Iggy's request. With a quiet blink, Luca watched a teardrop sail down into the howling void. As his fingers slowly gave up, he met eyes with Iggy.
Good.
The two silhouettes were swallowed by darkness.
Hell of a goodbye, Iggy. Luca, you should really step back. What? Quickly. Curious. Ah, but of course. Those fireworks of Iggy's must have been just the right amount of energy. We should get out of here before perennial harvest arrives. Not until you tell me what just happened. Your friend's sacrifice just saved this town. For a little while, anyway. How? Tempus aliquamine is a peculiar substance. It can change the relationship between matter and time itself, but doing so requires unfathomable energy. In a closed system, that energy can only come from its surroundings, a useful side product of this property being, by adding precisely the correct amount of energy to it, one can create a cryogenic cascade. So the gunk makes things cold and the fireworks made the whole freeze over. That's one way of putting it, yes. As dumb luck would have it, the fireworks weren't strong enough to generate a runaway reaction. I shudder to think what would have happened in that case.
Some idea what that would look like.
It will take them a good while to safely break through and access the source again. If you know all of this stuff, why haven't you been helping? I have been in my way. Each one of us has our role to play. Iggy's role, it turns out, was to buy us precious time. Mine has been to observe and wait. Wait for what? You. Me? Why? That's my role.
A fierce twinkle flashed in Nat's eyes.
Luca Van Horn, you're gonna save the world.
With a chuckle, Nat turned and walked west. Dumbfounded, Luca followed behind him, trudging through the snow. Every step taking him further away from everyone and everything he knew, and closer to destiny. To be continued in Beacon Pines, Pines Harder. Revenge served cold. Second time's a charm? Wait, that's it? This ends with a crummy cliffhanger just when it was getting good? I was even starting to like Iggy. No way. I refuse to be associated with some never-ending parade of sequels. Let's go back and find something more definitive.
Okay, so we can't go back there, but we can go back over here. And in the stillness, he began to hum.
And in the stillness, he began to hum. After the death of his father, Luca had trouble sleeping. Each night, his mother would sit at the foot of his bed and hum a gentle melody. It was the only thing that could calm his mind, the only thing that, however briefly, could make it all seem okay. That melody pervaded every memory Luca had of his mother. Shivering in the raw snow, he began to hum it out loud. Gran lowered the torch, listening closely. As recognition slowly set in, her heart sank. Those countless nights of consolation, the incomparable loss they shared together. She let the torch fall to the snow and sizzle out. A few steps toward Luca was all she could bear before dropping to the snow herself. Through a flood of tears, she began to hum along, note for note. Luca lifted his head in astonishment. The last time he heard that melody was the last night he saw his mother.
How do you know? I'm so sorry, my little buckaroo. Buckaroo? The only people who call me that are my dad and your mother.
Luca blinked through blurry, watery eyes, trying to see more clearly. He could just make out the impression of a familiar face. He peered across the snowscape at the woman on her knees. Something about her was undeniably his mother, only smaller, older, changed.
Mom? That's right, buckaroo. Mom.
Luca sprinted as fast as he could toward his mother. They held each other close, and the cold retreated from their bodies.
Eleanor? I thought you were gone. You should have known I would never abandon my
Eleanor
son.
looked down at Luca, tightening her embrace in an appeal for forgiveness.
How? You're a smart man, Joseph. I thought you'd have pieced it together by now. You were exposed. Mom, I don't understand any of this. What happened to you? Where did you go? Why did you leave me? I never left you. I was always right here, Luca. Why did you lie to me? It tore me up, Luca, but I did it to keep you safe. I thought that that getting answers would help us both move on. But the more I discovered, the more I realized the danger we were in. Until perennial harvest was stopped, it was better if everyone thought I was gone. How could you have trusted me? Or you could have trusted me. These are bad people, Luca. They won't stop until they get what they want. And they don't care who gets hurt in the process. Then what do? We have to stop them.
Joseph slumped into the cold, wet snow.
They can't be stopped. This is too big. I tried beating them at their own game. I'm done fighting fire with
For the
fire.
first time in a long time, her voice felt like her own again.
No more lies. I see now there's a better way to stop perennial harvest. The cold, hard truth.
Luca gazed down at Nuncreed with pity. Joseph
He
stared
looks
into the
small.
snow as if searching it for answers.
Come on, everyone. We've got a party to crash. You don't understand. He always wins.
Chapter 9.
All right. That is our point to jump off. Oh my gosh, that was a lot of drama. And I'm intrigued to see, are we getting closer to getting some answers? We'll see you all next time. Till then, bye-bye.